When planning for vehicles on a site, you have to have a place to put them. So let's get started in this discussion of parking design. And the first thing that you need to know is that these regulations are typically found in the zoning regulations. All right. Occasionally there are some state requirements that apply, but most of it is in your municipality. So in this video, let's get our discussion started with parking spaces. For this class, we're going to use a general or average size, and that will be 20 feet long by 10 foot wide for any standard parking stall. Typically, there is a minimum parking stall of 18 feet long by 9 foot wide, all right? And that would be like a compact stall. And when we're taking a look at the zoning code, I've used the city of Harrisburg as an example. All right, here are their regulations, and you can see for 90-degree or straight in parking, all right, their standard space, they're actually using the smaller size. All right, so you could go down as small as 9 feet by 18 feet. All right. And so whenever you are designing a parking lot, make sure to take a look at the zoning regulations for your particular municipality. You may be able to reduce the length of your parking spaces by overlapping or overhanging a landscaped planted strip. All right, and here's an example from the city of Harrisburg. All right, you can actually reduce, all right, the length of that strip. Your next design criteria will be the parking capacity. How many spots are required? All right. Again, this is usually found in the zoning regulations. If you're building residential, they often determine it by how many units you have, all right, how many residential units. If your property is commercial, this can be determined by the square footage of your building, by number of employees, or there are some other rules, so you really have to look at what you've got here. So on the example on the screen, on the left, we've got residential uses, and you can see that for example, a detached dwelling, you need a minimum of 1 space per unit. All right. And on the right, we see non-residential or commercial uses. All right, and you can see, for example, let's take a look at a bakery. You need 1 space for every 200 feet of gross floor area and 1 space for each employee. All right, so this is fairly complicated. You've got to make sure that you're following the regulations. Once you've figured out that parking capacity, or how many stalls you need to have, once you've designed your site plan, be sure to number the stalls. All right, this is going to let the viewer, which is your plan checker down at the city hall, all right, to quickly identify how many stalls you have without counting each one. All right, it's also useful to you as the designer. And here's how we do it. We would number the first and the last stall in each run. All right, so we go from 1 to 12, from 13 to 22, from 23 to 32, from 33 to 46.